ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्ट्वागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ओम शांति शांति शांति। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओम रिमोट से मंत्र नंबर 2। समाने वृक्षे पुरुषो निमग्नः समाने वृक्षे पुरुषो निमग्नः अनीशया शोचति मुह्यमानः अनीशया शोचति मुह्यमानः जुष्टं यथा पश्यत्यन्यमीशं जुष्टं यथा पश्यत्यन्यमीशं अस्य महिमानम इति भीतशोकः अस्य महिमानमिति भीतशोकः समाने वृक्षे पुरुषो निमग्नः अनीशया शोचति मुह्यमानः समाने वृक्षे पुरुषो निमग्नः अनीशया शोचति मुह्यमानः जुष्टं यथा पश्यत्यन्यमीशं अस्य महिमानमिति भीतशोकः जुष्टं यथा पश्यत्यन्यमीशं जुष्टं महिमानमिति भीतशोकः। This Purusha, one of the bird, Samane Vrukshe Nimagnaha. They are, both of them are on the same tree. But the one who is Muhyamana, the one who is deluded Purusha, Muhyamanaha Purusha, Samane Vrukshe Bihi Anishaya Shochati. That's a prose order. The being deluded, Muhyamana, that one bird who is eating those sweet or various fruits, which was talked about in the previous mantra, he is on the same tree, but Shochati, he grieves or suffers grief. For what? Anishaya, feeling helplessness. Okay? Then Yatha, or you can say Yada, when Pashyati Anyam Jushtam Isham. when he sees means knows, when this Purusha recognizes Anyam Isham, that another one, the another bird which is not eating, Anishaya Shochati, the one, this fellow sees the one who doesn't eat. One is Swaduvatti, another is witnessing. When he sees that is Isha, another bird is told as Isha. Previous mantra it was told that another bird doesn't eat any fruits. It is only watching. Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya Samanam Vruksham Parishasva Jate Tayoranyam Pippalam Swadu Vasti Anyaha Anashnan, without experiencing Avichakashiti. It is just watches. That the one who watches is called Isha. And that Isha is qualified by Jushtam Isha, the one which is most sought after, one which is most desirable, one which is most adorable, wanted. That desirable, that wanted, that sought after Ishvara, Anyam, or you can say Jushtam means worshipful. That worshipful Ishvara Pashyati. When this fellow sees, means knows, recognizes, how as a self, as non-separate from himself or itself, and Mahimanam Asya Mahimanam. Asya means Ishasya Mahimanam. When he sees the glory of that Ishvara, Tada, you have to add Tada, this Purusha, that eating bird, experiencing bird, this Nimagnaha bird, one who is sinking in the samsara, one who is Shochati, grieving, that bird, Bhavati Vita Shokaha, becomes free from any grief. This is, okay? Now, the Purusha sinking, rather right word is sinking, on the same tree. Here tree is nothing but the gross body. We are talking of Atma, the individual who is abiding in the body. You know that what Gita ji says, Kshetrajna. Idam shariram kaunteya kshetra mitya vediyate etadyo vetti tam prahu kshetrajna iti tadvida. The knower inside, the drashta who knows this body, that fellow is called Kshetrajna. As of now, that Kshetrajna is Jivatma, the obtaining Kshetrajna. Because of ignorance, we'll see in this one. That Kshetrajna who is aware, who is self-conscious, I am man or woman or I'm happy, unhappy, I'm engineer, doctor, etc. That Kshetrajna, Bhagavan says in the next loka. First he says Kshetrajna. Idam shariram kaunteya is called, Sharira is called Kshetra. One who knows this Sharira, etadyo vetti tam prahuhu Kshetrajna. That fellow is called Kshetrajna. I am Kshetrajna. That individual says. The second shloka he said, Kshetragnam chapimam viddhi sarva kshetreshu bharat. I am really the Kshetrajna. That is another Purusha. This imagery of two birds is there in Bhagavad Gita. When we say Gita is essence of Upanishad, Sarvo Upanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopala. This Upanishad su we chant the mantra. Bhagavad Gita su Upanishad su. This is the mantra. This is the root from where this shloka is there in Gita. So that's that another, this obtaining Kshetrajna, when he sees the real Kshetrajna, you have to call it a real and mithya. I will not use the word unreal. The obtaining Kshetrajna, who is mithya, when he sees the real Kshetrajna, which is same in all Kshetras, then the obtaining Kshetrajna, who is Shochati, becomes Vita Shoka. Okay, so here Vruksham, There it is called kshetra. Here it is called vruksham. This is called vruksham. Why? Vrishyanat vruksha. That which can be cut asunder. Both ways. You can cut it from the stem, and you can cut it and remove from the roots. So stem cutting is vairagya, root cutting is knowledge. And 15th chapter, again there is a connection to this, that samsara is equated to vruksha. Urdhva mula adashakha. It's a people tree, self-sustaining, self-expanding tree. That is the karma phala. He says, this jivatma, purushaha is individual or obtaining kshetrajna, is what Shankaracharya ji defines that. Purusha. The word purusha itself is Mahavakya. Purau ushati vasati iti purusha. Mahavakya means one reveals the identity between individual and total. Puri is the Sharira, Nagaram. Navadvare Puri, Navadvare Dehi, etc. Puram Ekadashadvaram Kathopanishad mantra and Gita ji, Navadvara. So this is Puri. Purau is Saptami, located. Purau Ushati Vasati, one who abides in Puri is a Purusha. The who abides, I am the indweller. The indweller who is this body is a transit house for Jivatma, according to karma and karma phala. Fellow is here and goes. That is one meaning of Purusha. Another meaning of Purusha is Sarvam Purayati Purusha. One who fills up everything. One which is the substratum of everything. That one because of whom what everything else is. That is Purusha. That means Brahman. So very Purusha word itself is Mahavakya. It reveals Jiva Brahma Aikya. Here, Samane Vrukshe Purusha. Here the word Purusha is not in terms of search. Here Purusha is in a sense of Pura Ushati Vasati, that obtaining individual, the experience, the knower, the I. And he says, he is Vrukshaha Nimagna. Nimagna, but you can say who is ever sinking. The one, see, if it is totally sunk, no problem. The fellow is dead, doesn't feel. But when you are sinking, it is very painful. So sunk for what? Then who is that Purusha? Very beautiful, very loaded sentence of Bhashya. That Purusha is Bhokta, means Karta Bhokta. That's a definition of Jiva. Who is Jivatma or what is Ahankara? Ahankara means Karta Bhokta. Simple. One who has a sense of doership and sense of enjoyership. One who looks upon oneself as a subject of an action as well as object of an action. That is what is negated in the second chapter by this verse. Yaenam vetti hantaram na hanyate hanyamane shati. Ubhautau na vijanito nayam hanti na khanyate. That is Bhokta, means Karta Bhokta, technically called as Jiva. When you say Karta Bhokta, that means Karma Fal, Karma Karta. That means Karma Fal Utpadaita. That means Karma Fal Bhokta. That means Janma Maranavan. That is Jiva. Colloquially, we say Jiva means one who is a transit fellow. Janma Maran jiska hai, usko Jiva kehte. But here Jiva means Karta Bhokta. How he is there? Shankaracharya ji writes Jiva. Avidya, Kama, Karma, Phala, Ragadi, Guru Bhara Akrantaha, Alabuhu Iva Samudre Jale Nimagnaha. Alabuhu. Alabu is dry bottle milk, which is loaded. Or modern example is like green coconut. This Bombay chapati. You see on the beach so many coconuts floating and sinking and coming out. Those when they drink the green coconut and then they throw it, somehow it gets into the ocean. Keep sinking and coming out. Keep sinking and coming out. So Alabuhu was legal issues then because coconuts were not sold on seashore and people never threw on the coconut sea beach. So Alabu, now we can say this green coconut, like green coconut sinking. Well, how it is sinking? Avidya, kama, karma, phala, ragadi. That is heavy. Avidya creates karta bhokta. That fellow keeps doing karma. Karma gives karma phala. And karma phala comes, then raga dveshas come into picture. Then they give rise to new karma. That is called secondary roots. Chandams yasya parnani. Secondary roots. Therefore, there is a saying, kurvate karma bhogaya karma kartum cha bhujyat. The fellow does karma to have a bhoga. But while experiencing, the experiencing itself is to do new karma. Because every bhoga comes into, when you have any bhoga, that time there is a raga dvesha comes into play. Oh, I like, or American, I love it. That means I want it again. That will prompt him to new karma. I hate it. Again, it will prompt to new karma that I don't want this in my life, to shun, to avoid. So that is a guru. That's a heavy load. That's a load because of which nimagnaha. And that is caused by what? Avidya in between. Kama, karma. That is in between. Nishchayena dehatma bhava vapan. Because of tadatmya with upadhi, there is jiva, individual created, who feels Upanishad, that will see this word, and then kama karma cycle starts. So, purushaha nimagnaha, that bird which is eating swaduvati, that is purusha, that jiva is sinking again and again, as Puja Swamiji would say, that samsara is not total sinking. It is dukkha, 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 sukha, dukkha, 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 sukha, dukkha, dukkha, sukha. So when it is dukkha, 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 dukkha is sinking, then suddenly, sukha, he comes out. As I said last time, when the fellow is sinking, the whole body, even if it is the fellow is paralytic, he becomes Olympic person. All cells start working and movement, and some movement brings him up. Then he takes a deep breath. When the fellow is taking breath, the body movement stops, then again sinks, then again movement, So that movement is more and coming out is less. So by the to breathe. So therefore, dukkha, 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 and suddenly sukha. Then dukkha, 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 sukha. Then Swamiji, having told this for a number of years, he improvised himself, not dukkha, 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 sukha. So rather than many dukkha, dukkha, one elongated dukkha is used to say. Anyway, this fellow is sinking in this sense, and because of that sinking, he is this notion, aham karta, dehatma bhava apannaha, asya putra, etc. And that is why janmas karma phala, then new janma, new karma, New karma phala along with new samskaras, new vasanas everywhere. That Bhajagovindam shloka, Punarapi jananam, Punarapi maranam, Punarapi janani jathare shayana, Ya samskare bahudustare. That is what it is, nimagna. The fellow is sinking. And sinking because of what? Avichara, non-thinking. That vriksha is to be cut asunder from the stem and the root. To cut it at the stem level, one has to do vichara. What is vichara? Viveka. What is viveka? Again, that same Bhajagovindam shloka. Kate kanta kaste putra samsaroyam ativa vichitra kasyatvam kaha kuta ayata tattvam chintaya tadiha brata. Who is my wife? Who is my son? And who is my father? This is all transient relationship. Like those relationships when we travel in train. And a typical Indian family is traveling in train, sharing the food and sharing cup of tea and exchanging experiences and trying to connect them, relationship, etc., etc. That is transient. So this fellow is nimagna, sunk in kanta, sunk in putra, sunk in pita, sunk in relation, bandhu bandhavaihi. Ayameva aham, dehadi bhava, amushya putraha. Shankaracharya says, I am the son of this person, amushya napta. I am the grandson of this. Sthuloham, krushoham, gunavanaham, nirgunaham, sukhiham, dukhiham, ityevam pratyaya. This pratyaya means notion. Pratyaya means this kind of self-identity. Pratyaya here doesn't mean simply thought. Pratyaya doesn't mean simply this kind of self-identity. And with this modern culture, you can add, a few more fair and eyebrows and etc. Handless. This concept of beauty in the modern world has created more complexes. And they're sinking further. And this idealistic more thing, I should be like this and I should not be like this. All these complexes keeps the fellow sinking. And the conclusion, Nasti anyaha asmaditi. I am not other than this. This alone is my identity. This is what I am. Is a confusion or this misappreciation about self is so confounded that fellow thinks I am Mr. Right. Therefore, Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati sayi. Yasyam jagrati sanyami sa nisha pashyato. That reality about me, I am Satchidananda Jagat Karanam Brahma, that fellow is awake, he sees, the wise person sees through and through. To that fact, these are blissfully ignorant. And they are so aware and so conscious and so strong-headed about the identity. They think that I know myself, especially in Indian or in the office, the threat, do you know who am I? Then who am I? Idiot, you don't know who am I yourself. What are you telling to me? But that is so strong that the conclusion, the wrong conclusion about oneself is so strong. Na anya asmaditi. And that is sinking is jayate, mriyate, sanyujyate, bandhu bandhavaihi, sambandhivihi, punah punah. Punarapi jananam, punarapi. That he is born again and again, dies again and again, gets connected with family and relations again and again, and suffers again and again. That Yamaraja says in Katha Upanishad, Punah punar vashama padyate. They come again and again to my vasha. So I don't have to go and catch them. Unfortunately, Yamaraja has a very improper vehicle. He sits on buffalo and he has to run around to take pranas. He cannot reach. Buffalo has no speed. But Bhagavan has created a system where people come to him. He did not go there. So, Punah Lahalab, how he is grieving. That's okay. One may say, it's okay, I have a confusion. I am engrossed in relationships and family. It's fine. So what? That is okay. Little here and there, happiness and unhappiness. It's fine. Let me continue. That is the sentence, Anishaya Shojati. Constant feeling of helplessness. That is Jiva's character. Jiva's Swarupa is, I always feel myself to be helpless. What way? There is two, three ways of looking at it. First of all, because of this identity, Dehadi Atma Bhava Apanna. Body-mind identification with body-mind complex give a sense that I am limited. That helplessness is felt right from childhood. Therefore, every child wants to grow older. You feel helpless. And having grown physically older, having grown up physically strong, you feel helpless in many ways. Child feels only from one perspective, that I am physically helpless. Can't open the door, can't do certain things, you need mother, and it looks like the whole world is out to kill me or out to catch me, and then the fear is there. Everything is too big, can't understand few things, how the things are working. That's okay. But when they grow up, you feel helpless in any which way, in terms of power, in terms of money, in terms of relationships, all. More so, there are desires. There are ragadveshas. Ragadvesha causes karma. The whole life is ishta prapti prayatna, anishta nivritti prayatna. I want to restructure the world outside according to my likes. I should have what all I like, and I should never have what I just don't like. That never happens. As they say, it's a pipe dream. The human being finds that what all I wanted to have or happen in my life never happened. What all I wanted to have, never I got it. And what all I didn't want to happen, that alone has happened to me. And that all those unwanted things and people are there with me. That is a constant feeling. Exactly like office. In an office, every subordinate often feels that I am not appreciated to the extent what I am. I am worth much more than I am appreciated by the office and the boss. And they always feel the boss doesn't know anything. I am running the whole show. And the boss feels this idiot doesn't know anything. He is unemployable. It is because of me he is surviving out of mercy. So that feeling, that helplessness of not getting what I wanted and getting what I didn't want in any which way, relationships, possessions, position, power. Secondly, what I want is endless, and what I don't want is also endless. And this I want and I don't want is always changing also. Today I want and tomorrow I don't. So it takes time again to restructure the whole blessed thing. And sometimes it becomes impossible that now you wanted it and then it discovers that it is not worth it and I don't want, but then you are stuck with it. Like Indian marriage, any marriage. When the date and when they propose, this, will you marry me? I'm incomplete without you, blah, 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 I love you. And after 1 or 2 years, they discover that the one whom I thought will make me complete makes me more incomplete. So now I don't want that person in life, but you are stuck with it throughout the life, It is like that joke, He says, this fellow says, it was my greatest blunder. I was foolish then to marry you. And I wonder what would have happened to you if I had not married. Then the lady said, there are enough fools available in the world. You should not worry for me. Anyway, coming back to even this physical, as Swamiji would say, nobody wants gray hair. Nobody wants wrinkles. Nobody wants old age. That is there. Second, helplessness, which I see in this modern world, especially we have more problems of relationships today. Equal problems of want and don't want, but then relationship, they were not that much there then, before 50, 60 years. There is a constant feeling that I am not being understood by my spouse and my family. The family is nuclear. He feels that she doesn't understand me and doesn't give me. Video is stuck?
Yeah.
Now can you see that? Okay, hold on. I'll connect with something else. And this is not working.
It could be Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi has issues.
It keeps on choking.
Hmm.
So I'll just show you one on VGS.
I will join with, hold on 1 minute.
Delta 7, sir.
Is it okay now? Video is okay? Okay. I changed the connection. Wi-Fi has issues, so I moved. So this feeling, that others don't understand and they want space. Give me some space. That's standard feeling. And they always say, in a typical Indian background, I did so or whatever. They told me like that. They did like that to me.
Again,
so that is Anishaya, the sense of helplessness. Oh, what's the problem? Asked for a ticket, bus ticket. He said, give me 2 tickets. Then this fellow said, why 2 tickets? The conductor said, he said, if the first one is lost, then I can have the second. And the conductor said, if the second is lost, I have monthly pass also. So, similarly, I carry 3 networks. If this doesn't work, then I'll try this. Can you hear me now? Okay, so let's hope Reliance gives
But it
better
shows
solution.
their network bandwidth is low. That is the message.
But I don't know. I'm helpless. I'm doing connected
It is
with
working.
everything. Anyway,
Fine.
though nobody understands and nobody appreciates what I have given, what I have, internet connection is unstable. Okay. Now this is caused partly because of self-consciousness. human being is very much aware, conscious about the self, which animals don't seem to have. Other species, this looks beautiful or like this, but dog doesn't know how I. The self-awareness is not. Maximum human being, and it is endowed with ignorance. Okay, no? Therefore, there is anisha. Physical limitations, emotional, and also cognitive limitations, power-wise. That constant feeling of helplessness sometimes leads to self-judgment that I am useless, that I am nobody. And that leads to depression. That leads to frustrations with oneself, some pain with oneself, this low self-esteem. And that creates more problem further up. But basically, this raga, that I am helpless, anisha, is constant, felt constant, because it is limited by nature. I place my this individuality placed on physio-psycho-complex, which is by nature limited. So that swarupa of that will be my swarupa because of adhyasa. And there will be constant feeling of limitations. That is the cause of shoj. The grief in life is constant, with or without the things. The problem, Maya, is we think that our problem is of haves and have-nots. It is not the problem of haves and have-nots. Means I have something which I don't like, and I don't have which is something I like. That's not the problem. The original problem is sense of helplessness centered on I. That is a shoka. That is the whole message of Gita and Arjuna. The first chapter, if you analyze, Arjuna was grieving because he felt himself helpless. Anishatva, I am helpless. And that is cause of shoka. And this shoka is caused up by what? Muhyamanaha. And what is helplessness? Shankaracharya writes this. Na kasyachit samartoham. I am not capable of anything. What these modern guys call it, negative thinking. It is not negative thinking. It is a conclusion, not thinking. Putro, and then grief is what? Putro vinashtaha, my son died, I couldn't do anything. Mruta me bharya, my wife died, I could not do anything. I could not achieve what I wanted to achieve, Kim, and therefore, Kim me jeevitena, why should I live? What is the purpose of my living? Ittevam dina bhavam, the sense of dainyam, that is jiva. That is a raga of jiva. Like a typical British time letters that we Indians were asked to write. Your servant, your obedient servant. Then the right application, your obedient servant. But whether that fellow is accepted your servant is a question. He is applying for a job. But he writes, your ever obedient servant. That is helplessness. Dainyam. Bhavam apanna. Then he says what? Muhyamanaha. Deluded. What is delusion here? The fundamental delusion is avidya. But ignorance is simply not non-apprehension, but non-apprehension caused misapprehension. You don't apprehend the rope, but you take it to be snake. Here, that fundamental misillusion is no clarity about view of life, and therefore no clarity about way of life. Okay? Clarity is not there. What is the view of life? That means there is no clarity as to what exactly I am seeking. I am seeking total happiness. I am seeking Ishatvam. When he says Jushtam Isham, Veda doesn't give some goal on its own. It just validates or gives you clarity that what you are seeking. I want Niratishayam Sukham me bhuyat, Anumatram Dukkham me ma bhut. That iota of unhappiness should not come to me. I should have total happiness. That clarity is missing. And therefore, way of life is not. What is the view of life? Vedic view of life is Chaturvida Purushartha. There is no clarity that what should be my Purushartha. Kama Purushartha being natural, and Artha also is natural. Artha Kama is natural, that you seek security and you seek sensual pleasure. That is how the creation is. What Yamaraja says, Paranchikhani vedrunat swayambhu tasmat parang pashyati nantarat. Indriyas are extrovert. So you see the world, you are extrovert. Extrovert means seeking happiness outside me. That's natural. Like no mother tells the baby, and baby learns, hey baby, you will be happy if you play with the toys and the dolls. Right from day one, baby wants something outside itself to be happy. And baby always feels something outside me is a cause of my being unhappy. So that is how it is, Paranjika. It is natural that you seek happiness outside and you seek security also outside. It seeks security naturally in a mother or a father or family or whatever it is. But then, view of life should be that Manushya Janma I have been gifted with. So my basis for pursuit of Artha Kama should be Dharma. That is Momohima, delusion. That I should seek through Dharma. Dharmadarthasya kamasya. That is not there. That's the beauty of our culture. We were taught right from childhood, taught in Gurukulam, that what is your Dharma first? Both Samanya Dharma and Vishesha Dharma, ethic values and what you ought to do as a contributor. And then you pursue Artha Kama. It is not that simply pursuit of Artha Kama, and nature of Artha Kama is such that it will make you compromise Dharma. Unless you start from the basis of Dharma, that Kama, that it will induce you to commit to Papa. That's the nature. Because more Artha you want more Kama you want more, and that will lead one to transgress the boundaries of Dharma and commit Papa. So that Momohyamana is that Dharma, Purushartha Abhava. The beauty of our culture is Dharma itself is looked upon as Purushartha, independent Purushartha, not subservient to Artha Kama, not an accomplice or a means to Artha Kama. It's a Purushartha. It is my duty, full stop. I have to do this, full stop. Matrudeva Bhava, Pitrudeva Bhava, full stop. Now, and further Momohyamana is what? that Manushya Janma is cut out for moksha. Dharma itself is a means for moksha. Dharma itself is not an end in itself. Though it is said, Sharira Madhyam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. This body is, human body or human birth is primarily a means for earning dharma. But then our own Shastras give the Chaturtha Purushartha as moksha. And the Chaturtha Ashrama is also moksha. And rest of the three ashramas are commitment to dharma. Brahmachari is taught dharma. Therefore, at the valedictory, it is a vakyam. Dharmam chara, satyam vada, dharmam chara, etc., etc. Vakyas are there. And grahastha is also for performing dharma. Therefore, there is a word saha dharmachari, saha dharmacharini. Vanaprastha is also dharma. Vanaprastha doesn't give up Agnihotradi Nitya Naimittik karmas. It only gives up Laukik karmas. The Vanaprastha is not exempted from Vedic duties. Agnihotra, Sandhya, Vandanadi, that he has to do, that Vishesha Dharma. And then Vana Gruhi Bhutva Vani Bhavet, Vani Bhutva Sannyasam Acharan. So Dharma is a means for moksha. That moksha is ultimate Purushartha. That is not discerned. That is momuhyama. Even our Indians have this conclusion. When you say them, come to class or do something, after retirement we will see. They look upon this as a pastime. In other words, when you are good for nothing, you are good for Swamis. No, this is momuhyamana. This aviveka keeps on achieving various ends at a cost of the end for which this human body is given. And that fellow, this is Jiva. Look at the third line of the mantra. That fellow, Yada Pashyati Jushtam Isham Mahimana. When he sees that, when he knows that, but then in between, Shankaracharya ji writes, it is not that this Dharmatma will tumble upon self-knowledge. There is connection. Kadachit Aneka Janmasu Shuddha Dharma Sanchita Nimittita. I just some time by grace. Aneka Janmasu Shuddha Dharma Sanchita. Many birds, he has done dharma and accumulated punya. Tat nimittataha. And that punya becomes a nimitta, instrument to connect to a guru, to give rise to viveka, to give rise to vairagya, to give rise to mumukshutva. The phalam of dharma is antakarana shuddhi, what we call it. And the shuddhi expresses in terms of vivek, vairagya, and ultimately moksha. The viveka itself becomes vairagya, and vairagya itself leads to moksha. So to have moksha is shubhecha. And to have that shubhecha is aneka janma punya. And further aneka janma punya, more punya. That mumukshu come across is a guru. And you have to qualify proper guru. When a person is mumukshu, there is this passion that these things doesn't, some vague thinking, this samsara or achievements don't give me that peace or fulfillment or contentment that I want. So I want to do something else. So the known means are given up in search of some peace of mind or some happiness or something. And what is a right means that fellow doesn't know. That moment he or she is the most gullible person. Wants to do something unusual. And that's a right catch for asana pranayama and meditation and peace. So get stuck up with some wrong groups. And then you hold on to some group for some time. They solve some psychological problems. But psychological solution is because of delusion construed as spiritual solution. The mind is disturbed and stress and anxiety and all these are psychological issues. We are talking of the self, which is Shanta. That Shanti is you in spite of mental Ashanti. And I'm not telling to manage the stress or relieve the stress. This wisdom teaches you to be stress-free. There is a question of managing. You have to manage something only when it is there with you. I don't need to manage finance because I don't have. I don't need to manage a company because I don't have. Shastra gives a wisdom of stress-free living. Now, all these psychological issues are addressed by certain groups, and then people are so gullible, those fellows, leaders, are taken, they pass by as religious leaders. They are not religious leaders. Spiritual leaders. They are not spiritual leaders. And this fellow, out of ignorance, thinks that I am on a path of spirituality. Spirituality is nothing but vision of truth. Understanding the nature of the self, Jagat and Ishvara, that is not there at all. That fellow is very gullible. You require lots and lots of punya to come across a right person who teaches Shastra, who talks of Gnana. Because the problem is avidya. And that avidya can be moved only by knowledge, nothing else. Everything else, Guru Seva, or Upasana, or Tapas, or Yatra, whatever they do, so many things. They are subservient in a sense, they create necessary psychological infrastructure to gain the knowledge. And it is equally important. In absence of that infrastructure, even if you have a right teacher and competent Shrotriya Brahmanishta Acharya, Shrestha Acharya, the very kushala in communication, nothing works because that infrastructure is missing. We have had few brahmacharis and co-students when Swamiji himself was teaching. But at the end of the course, they went to some other groups. Swamiji used to say, my papa. Simple thing they didn't understand that what will cook the goose of Ahankara is nothing but knowledge. Having studied Gita, Upanishad, etc., they get into some useless groups, get into some seva. I have nothing wrong in seva, etc. But the point is, when you don't have that infrastructure, it will not work. All these are meant to give you that infrastructure. The clarity not being there, they take the means as an end. That's the most gullible. To come across this, some guru is anek janma shuddha punya. And then Guru should accept you. Guru should teach you. Then only you will see Mahimana. So Acharya Shankaracharya says, Paramakarunikeena Darshita Gnana Yoga Marg. That knowledge should be bestowed by a teacher, given by a teacher, and it requires lots of compassion. Why you need a compassion? It's not need, it is natural. Why? The Guru is always addressed as Karuna Sagara. Why? Because the Guru sees let me use Swamiji's word, this idiot in a shoka because of a problem which is not there. Ashocyanan was just grieved for. The fellow sees a ghost where actually it is not there. So unless the teacher has a compassion, total compassion, he will not address the child. It is exactly like a child. Sometimes child have a problem. I remember one of our relatives, that boy, when he was young, 3 years old, at night he would cry. Okay? He was fourth to the fifth sibling in the family of 7 children. Parents were there, grandparents were there. At night he will suddenly cry. And he will just cry for 1 or 2 minutes, will not answer. Hey, what happened? Why are you crying? Like that he will do. And then after 1 or 2 minutes of wailing, the fellow will say, who will give me the clothes and who will bathe me? There is no problem. Kal mujhe snan kaun karayega? Every day they are giving you every day you are getting a bath. He cries now. So there is no problem. That fellow imagines the problem and cries. So whole samsara is like that. When I see people having all issues, then I find their own personal values, strong likes and dislikes. That's a problem, not the situation. And why you have so much strong value for this, there is no answer. Anxiety, worry, stress, all some self-created. Relationships have created issues. There is a problem. So Guru should be Paramakarunika. Unless he has a total compassion, and more Guru teaches, more this fellow justifies. So I have a problem. People tell me also, Swamiji, you don't know how much trouble I have. You laugh in between. What you don't know? It is exactly like a psychic patient in a hospital, things the doctor doesn't. There is a joke, This patient, the doctor came to the ward, and the new admission was there in the previous night. In the morning, he took the case paper and name and all that. He read and understood the symptoms. So just to pick up conversation and then make him talk, he said, hey, what's your name? So the fellow in this bed looks at the neighbor, makes a gesture of as if this fellow is insulting him towards the doctor. Oh, your name is Kantibai. Yes. What's your age? Pointing finger to the doctor, he looks at the neighbor and the next bed patient. 7, 8 questions he asked, and he did like this. Doctor understood he has some imbalance and he doesn't want to talk. So he went further. Then after the doctor went, this fellow who was questioned by a doctor tells his next patient, colleague, kitna pagal hai. How mad he is. Everything is written, but still he is asking. The mad fellow thinks doctor is mad. the fellow who has a problem thinks that the doctor has a problem. Same is the case when people tell me, Swami, you don't know what's the problem. You are taking everything too lightly. There is no weight. It is all fluffy. It is like the foam of the soap. When you think you are carrying an iron iron ore, load of tons and tons. That is a Parama Karuna. You need a lot of compassion. And Parama Karunikena Darshita Marga. Tasmat Pashyati. Then only he or she can see what Justam Mahimanam Isham Bhavati Vita Shoka. That part we'll see next week, next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om.